What's up, everybody? It's your boy Jones and Mann, and tonight I'm hanging with your boy. Tell him who you is.
What's up? You see what time it is? It's your boy Drams on deck. Today I'm in the Jones and Mann cave, and today what we doing today? We got a Scotch right here, the Glenmorangie 10-year. Yes, sir. We see it. You see it. What we about to do? We about to nose it, taste it, and review it. Let's go.
Well, Drams, man, let me just first of all say I appreciate it, man. You know, I kind of called you on a whim. I've been watching your content. I know that you are like the Scotch king. I didn't know if you was gonna come out in one of the kilts and everything because you just so inbred in the whole little Scottish feel. But I appreciate it. I appreciate you giving me a suggestion of what to go out and cop, and that you rocking with me and reviewing this one. Now, here's what we're gonna do. This is your first time on Jones and Mann. So what we do here is we're gonna pop this bottle. We're gonna give it open. We're gonna talk a little bit about it. But I know you the Scotch guy, so I'm gonna let you, kind of open it up and tell us about it. And we're gonna put it on a neat pour. Cause I call these house rules. My house rules is I always do a neat pour, and I know real deal Scotch guys are like, ooh, but I'm gonna also do it on the rocks. But here's why. I feel like the biggest variation that you'll get in a spirit is it neat and it on the rocks. Now you can't add water to it, but even on the rocks is going to give you a much bigger variation. And the only thing that you could do to a spirit to make it more different than when it originally came out of the bottle is make a cocktail out of it. Now we don't do cocktails here, but we do do it neat, and I put it on the rocks. So for tonight, can you live with that?
For sure. I'm roll with you tonight. Normally I don't do this, but for you, this house rules, I got no problem doing it, man.
Appreciate it.
That's rocks right here. Throw it on there. We do both ways.
So while I open mine up, because I got a fresh crack here, what can you tell us about this? Now I used to say Glenmorangie, but I think it's Glenmorangie. Okay. What can you tell us about it?
You know what I'm saying? Now, I usually pronounce it my own little way as I pour my sip right here. But normally, I used to call it Glenmorangie. You know what I'm saying? But now I kind of call it that. We put a little slang on it. Glenmorangie as 10-year. This is the original. So this one right here is one of their Glenmorangie has like a large collection of different spirits. So they have their core range, right? So this right here, the 10-year is the lowest age statement they have in their range. They have the 10-year. They have a 12-year, which is a Lasanta cast. Lasanta pretty much is the sherry cast. They have I want to say a 14 or 15-year bourbon that they have. And then they also just came out with a lower one that's made for mixing. I think it has an X on the bottom. But Glenmorangie, they have so many different ones. I reviewed a Signet a few years ago, and that's one of the better ones in my opinion. If you just imagine you had like a chocolate bar, a cocoa espresso, and a spirit. That's kind of what it tastes like. They have so many different ones. Matter of fact, behind me, I can show everybody. This is the Glenmorangie Bacalta. This one right here, I got this one a little while back. This one right here is what they would call like a one-off. So this one right here, they have it, they make it, and they have one-offs. So pretty much they make a certain mass amount, and after they sell out, that's it. They don't make it really anymore. So this is one of the one-off bottles that I actually called Culture, which is actually great. It's very honeycomb, vanilla, just very, very luscious. But this right here is a core range. So you should always find the 10-year at most liquor stores. And usually in the range anywhere from 30 to 40 bucks, ballpark, give or take. But this is one of the spirits that I personally would recommend to someone who's not a Scotch drinker. Okay. Because some people if you never try Scotch, you just think that's your granddad's thing, and it's just very harsh and strong. But they have some very soft, sweet Scotches. They have some a little bit more hardcore with peated ones. This one, there's no peat. Those who may not know what peat is, that basically another word for smoke. So if a Scotch is peated, that means it has smoke flavor. Okay. This has no peat whatsoever. So it's just straight aged in bourbon barrels. So that's why I would recommend this to a bourbon drinker looking to transition over to Scotch, because if I blindfolded some bourbon drinkers, they would think this is bourbon, not Scotch, because it has the inherent flavors of the bourbon that they make out there. So a lot of Scotches is made with bourbon casks.
Okay.
So
it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting because I'm not a Scotch guy, so I kind of looked into it. I noticed that they put on the box that this is the original. I even saw something that was like Glenmorangie is the like top selling Scotch in Scotland. I don't know how true that was, but one of the guys that I saw made comment to that, and I believe you also added to the point that it is aged in first and second run bourbon barrels, and it comes in at about 43% alcohol, and I think I paid like 45 bucks somewhere in that neighborhood, and that's North Carolina retail. So it was a little. I feel like it was a little bit more. I'll put the price down below, but I feel like it was like 40 some bucks.
Yeah.
But we'll see if it tastes like bourbon, because I don't know. Scotch is its own thing. Like I'm smelling it right now, and I'm smelling bourbon. I mean, I'm smelling Scotch, but let's do our thing. Let's swirl around, and then what I'll do is after we give it a little taste, we're gonna give it a rating. We're gonna rate it on a scale of 1 to 5. 1 being, man, push this bottle off the table, and 5 being, this is it. This is my favorite. This is my new thing. Pop it. And then after we do that, I'd love for you to take a little time. Tell us a little bit about Drams on Deck. Tell us what you got going on, what's upcoming. Introduce yourself to the Joneses out there, to the Jones and Mann audience. And then, that'll be it.
Oh, for sure.
Now, around here, we say clink them and drink them. So let's clink them. Oh, let's nose it first. My bad. I done got excited. Let's take a whiff first. Now, I will admit, there are some bourbon-esque characteristics, because there's a little vanilla in there.
Oh, yeah. You could definitely pick up vanilla, a little honeycomb.
There's some heat in there, too, though.
Honey. Sweet oak.
Yeah. But, see, I probably... it does get reminiscent of bourbon, but it smells like Scotch to me on the nose. It's got a nice citrus kind of... Which that citrus and vanilla kind of make me think bourbon, the little oak, but I don't know. Right there on the end, I might say, "Ooh, that's some Scotch right there."
What does traditional Scotch taste like to you?
I used to say Scotch tastes like to me the way that someone says, "Well, hey, what does Scotch taste like?" And I would say, imagine this in your mind: going to a cigar bar, and they've got ashtrays all around. And what you do is you get the finest distilled water and you put it in that ashtray and swirl it around, and then you pour the ashes and all of that through a filter, and then you drink it. That's what Scotch tastes like.
Okay.
Not that, now I feel like, now that I've tried some more Scotches, I don't really feel like that's close. But there are some differences. I think that to me is like, when I think about the more peatier ones, I start to feel like brisket, like cooked meat a little bit more. Some of the ones can have a fruitier kind of feel to it. I think this is a Highland, right?
So this right here, you said Highland?
Yeah, it's a Highland. Yeah,
it's Highland.
Highland single malt.
Highland don't do peated Scotches usually in that area. That's more on the island side.
Right.
So yeah, this one here is there's no ash whatsoever on this one right here.
All right. So what do I need? What do I need to know going in to taste this? Are we ready to taste it now?
Oh yeah, we can do it. You picked up, like I said, mostly just so y'all know, I get the vanilla, honeycomb, sweet oak. That's why I mostly pick up on the nose. Very soft, very approachable. Like if you ever put your nose like in a high proof bourbon or Scotch, how it's very very strong. This one is not like that. It's very approachable,
Yeah. Well, clink them and drink them.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So, first taste, I would not mistake this for bourbon. This is still Scotch all day long. One thing I will say is some of that sweetness that you smell on the nose does translate in the taste, which is kind of cool. It's got a good mouthfeel to it. It's not. It really. It doesn't really have any what they would say burn to it.
Yeah, no burn, no bite to it.
It's mellow.
It's what I call a drink, easy sipper. You know, it goes down smooth. I mean, technically, you could mix it if someone wanted to. They could, because it has a very I would say entry level palate, meaning that the vanilla, the sweet oak, that type of entry level palate. You could mix that if you chose to. But like I said, it's very approachable. Like I said, it's something that I would think someone that's trying to get over Scotch, I think this wouldn't necessarily rub them off. Like you can try it, and whether it reminds you of bourbon or not, I think it's something that it wouldn't normally turn you off because it's not super high, it's not going to burn you, it's not going to bite you. It has a very similar notes that you would find in bourbon, though it may be different, but the vanilla, that's a very common bourbon note. So
yeah.
I just think that for someone trying to switch over, this is pretty easy going.
Definitely, it is. For me, it says Scotch, but I've had Scotches that are way more. And this is not a real term, but way more Scotchy than this. This is light. This is, like you say, this is an easy introduction. It is kind of like right on the end, that last little taste, like after you taste the first sip, and then you go back to it. It gets kind of peppery a little bit on the fat part of my tongue.
Remind you of like a, when I get a lot of pepper on normally when I'm sipping on like a Blanco tequila. Those are kind of peppery too. So, but all in all, man, I think this is something that, like I said, it won't break the bank, easy to find, very approachable.
Yeah.
That's why I say it. It has some commonality in the notes that you would find in certain bourbons.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by it.
I'm with you on that. I think it is first taste very approachable. I didn't mind that neat at all. I went ahead and threw mine on the rocks a little bit. So let y'all see that we got one of them ice balls in there. If you're interested in getting you one of them ice balls, make sure you check out my bio or my link in the comments or in Instagram. One of those tell you how to get one of those clear ice ball makers. Same on the glassware too. Let it play around. Let's see what. Cause see, I think personally, a majority of my spirits I enjoy chilled. Not necessarily in the refrigerator chilled, but more so really just cold. Because I don't like coffee. I don't like hot chocolate. So especially when you're drinking spirits, boy, you'll get in there and be like, whoo, you get warm already. It warms the body up.
Start sweating stuff, huh?
Yeah. So when you chill it down a little bit, it has some refreshment to it. So I'm actually excited to try this on the rocks.
Okay. Let's do it.
Clink them and drink.
This for you, man.
Let's do it. Yeah. Now, on the rocks, it starts to taste a lot more like a bourbon.
Especially because that's your preferred temperature and method of drinking on the rocks, colder. That's your preferred method. So when you put it in an environment that's kind of in your warehouse as far as the temperature and the way you drink it, it works out better for you.
Yeah. Because I think it tames down a little bit of it's not really peat, but there's like you said, it may not be really smoke, but there's a definite Scotch formula. There's a Scotch formula. And it tapers that down a little bit on the rocks. Now, I don't really know if I like it on the rocks more than I do neat yet. I'm still on the fence about that.
Okay. I know I like it cold too, like you do. So normally what I do is on channel, like I these little Glenmorangie glasses, I leave them in the freezer, and I put these little metal balls in there. I call them pretty much just to keep it cold in the freezer. I keep them in the freezer. The balls in the actual Glenmorangie glass, I keep everything frozen so that when I pour my spirit on it, it gets the cold effect without me having necessarily to dilute it. Because it's kind of like 43% is kind of, I try not to dilute it much, but if I choose to, like I have on rocks, that's fine. But yeah, I keep it cold so that when I pour it in there, it's already chilled. And then if I want to add water, I just gradually do it. But if someone chose to do it on the ice ball, that works just the same too because it melts very slow.
Yeah, yeah. So right now, I guess since you tried it on the rocks, is your preference still Glencairn nice ice steel cube versus on the rocks?
Yeah, mainly because I get the same effect without diluting it.
Right.
So normally, like I would say this, if normally when I'm drinking cash, because if we're talking about a Scotch, normally they call it cash strength, and then a bourbon they call it barrel proof. So if I'm drinking either way, you're drinking a higher proof, well over 50% stuff, and I want to bring it down. Normally, I just have me a little water beaker. I just add some water to it and bring it down to whatever my comfortable level is. But yeah, I mean, I try not to dilute it too much just because I think that's perfect the way that it is. Like if I'm making mixed drinks, yeah, but normally I always drink my stuff neat and then just add a little bit of water gradually. But usually with higher proof, so if something's 43% or 40%, I just leave it as is mostly.
Okay.
Because
So
I like the higher proof. Even when something's a little bit higher, it tends to linger. It lasts. The finish tends to be slightly longer, the higher proof sometimes.
yeah.
So I just try to let that finish right out. Because I guess I'm kind of used to it. But would you believe maybe 3 years ago I didn't like anything that was above 50%. I didn't like high proof stuff. And within the last 3 years, I just gradually kind of trained my tongue to get past the first shot, and after a while, it's like I got kind of used to it. Now I prefer it. So 3-4 years ago, like if something was 50, 65, 60-some%, like the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, I was like, dude. Or I would have to pour a lot of water in it. But now I just kind of train myself not to it doesn't really bother me so much as much now.
Yeah.
Sometimes I ain't gonna lie, I had a barrel proof last week and it was hot, but I dealt with it.
What barrel proof was it?
It was a C. It was 68%. I think it was a newer one, the batch C919. I want to say.
Okay.
But yeah, it was like 68%.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's the highest proof I got in the house. So yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. I've got a saying that I think with time, especially when you find people who only drink like bourbon or whiskeys, they only drink one spirit. It's kind of like hot food. If you got somebody in your family that eats hot or spicy food, and they've been eating hot and spicy food for a long time, they might eat something and be like, oh, this is nothing, and you might eat it and your whole mouth be on fire. It is because with time you kind of get accustomed to that, and you need a little more heat, a little bit more spice. Same thing with whiskeys and stuff. You need a little more proof to get the same punch that like, oh, this is not that you want it to blow your head off, but you want like, oh, this is a nice explosion of flavor right here. And you won't get that for someone who's been drinking 50s, and you go down to a 40% alcohol, right. You're not gonna get it. It's gonna be like, oh, this is bland. This is the difference between McDonald's Sprite and Sprite from somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? You don't have that same kick to it. So I definitely get it. I'm not there yet. Proof is just, to me, proof is more of a hindrance than a help to me. There are a few things that I tried that are high proof that are excellent, but they're well done. But a majority of the things, I'm trying to get over the proof so much that I don't really enjoy the ride or the flavor of it.
You know what? Yeah, that's what with me. I think when I started high proofs, I think I wasn't ready yet. Kind of burnt me. I'm like, But I think what happened was I started drinking certain spirits. Sometimes I will say this: every time that you have a high proof, it doesn't always burn. It's not always hot.
Right.
So I found some higher proofs that sit very easy. That does not pack a punch, like a Stag Junior, Elijah Craig. Those pack a punch. Yeah, exactly.
Right when I reached for you said it.
So yeah, when you taste those things, you can feel the heat. But beyond the heat, there's a lot of flavor going on there. Yeah. But what I found was a certain spirits, not all, some of them, It has a higher proof, but it doesn't pack that punch though.
Yeah.
It's still very smooth. And that's like, wow, okay, that's when I realized all proof don't, all proof don't hit the same. You know what I'm saying? Almost like if someone like I equate that as my national would be like heavyweight fighter. All 255-pound fighters don't all hit with the same ferocity, don't have the same
Right.
power behind it. It's the same way with the proof. The proof, even just because it's 50%, they all don't hit the same. Because I guarantee you, at least to me, like a Knobs Creek at 50% is going to be a little bit more hotter than me than maybe certain scotches that I try at 55%. So
Okay.
I just think it's a livery. But nevertheless, I tried it with the ice. Unfortunately, I don't have the ice ball like you, so it dilutes a little quicker. But yeah, I mean, obviously, it cuts it down even more so. So
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, it's definitely I would say you could definitely mix it. I think the flavors are basic in the fact that if you was to mix it with the juice, it would still go good with something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is definitely could be easy. Sip this with some any kind of juice or something like that if you chose to. I never do that, but I think it could. And plus, it's only $30, $40, so it's not going to break the bank. So but if it was $100, I wouldn't necessarily say that. So
right. So let's do what we do. Let's rate it. Scale of 1 to 5. Since you my guest, I'll let you go first and rate it. Tell us what you rated, why you rated it.
So for me, on a scale of 1 to 5, I probably rate this I think about a good 3.5.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that is because I think that here's the goods. The goods, like I said earlier, it's very vanilla, very easy sipper, no burn, no bite. Has a little bit of honey to character to it, sweet oak, and I like those are basic flavors that I really enjoy. You don't have to worry about burning your tongue or breaking the pack. So I like the fact that it's available. This is very, like I said, very basic entry level, common spirits that someone can transition to. The one knock I may have on about, in my opinion, is not very complex. Obviously, I mean, it's not super complex or anything like that. It's not mind blowing. I don't think the finish is super long, but it's only 43%. So I usually don't expect super long finishes on lower proofs anyway. So yeah, I would just say so. My only knock on this is just the fact that it lacks complexity, a longer finish. But that's really it. It's not super complex. The fish is not super long, but that's the only thing I can knock it for. Everything else, very easy, very approachable, nice, easy sipper. Like I call it comfort drink. Come home from work, pour that up, rocks or no rocks, and it go down easy. So I would give it 3.5. Above average, pretty good. I like it.
Okay. So
it's not gonna buy you, but it's good.
Right. I'm with you. I think it's a really good value at the price point. I just pulled out Monkey Shoulder. Now, Monkey Shoulder's blended malts, and this is single malt. But I guess for the long time, this was my bang for the buck. You know what I'm saying? Like $35 somewhere in that neighborhood. To me,
right.
this tastes like Scotch. I'm not so into Scotch where single malt versus blended really matter to me. And I'm trying to sniff and taste and talk. I like it. I think that honestly, this is a little bit lighter and softer than even the Monkey Shoulder. That's why I wanted to go back and kind of taste it. So I think for the entry into Scotch, this might be the better choice because it's a lighter, it's a shorter step up. Like this is into Scotch, but I feel like this is a little more aggressive. A little, maybe even you could say even. I don't know if it's more complex or if it's less polished. I don't know which one of those ways it would be. So I'm gonna say a 3 because Monkey Shoulder was my 3-ish for Scotch, and I definitely think this is a good contender. I would probably start referring people to try this for introduction into Scotch. Now I think this was an awesome selection to choose to kind of open that door because it's a single malt. It doesn't have any finishings or anything that kind of alter it and kind of trick you into it. This is Scotch. This is what it is, kind of deal. So I'm gonna give it a solid 3 for sure. So 3.5, not bad, not bad. So I know, Drams, I know you got a lot going on. So I do want to open the floor to you to kind of let you tell my audience a little bit about Drams on Deck. Tell them, tell them what you got going on.
Yeah, a real quick synopsis of how I started, man. I was one of the guys that I kind of start finding myself getting into spirits a lot more. And a lot of my people I work with, they wasn't really into it. So so I was like, man, how can I find it? But sometimes you go in the aisle, you look at the price tags of $50 or $100. You kind of want to know what you're getting before you invest it. So I got into it just basically by looking at other reviewers and getting ideas. And I started really enjoying the viewership, because to me it was almost like I was sitting there drinking with them, because I didn't have anybody to drink with. The people I drunk with, they either it was cheap, they didn't want to buy it, they just wasn't into drinking.
Yeah.
So I just kind of got into it, found to buy it, just getting information from other people. And slowly but surely, I was actually probably in the Pittsburgh area, because I'm in the military, so I do move around a lot. But I was hanging with some other people, and they were like, "Why don't you start doing it? Since you got so many." I started amassing a collection. They said, "Why don't you start sharing your stuff?" So that's kind of how a light bulb went off, and I kind of slowly got into it. But yeah, I mean, so more Jams on Deck is pretty much, I'm the type of person, there's certain people who have certain channels. They only do bourbons, they only do scotches, they only do tequilas, they only do this. I'm the type of person, I like to be well rounded. So I like to do. I mean, I love scotches. That was probably my first love, but I should say cognac first, and then I bought scotch. But I do cognacs, I do tequilas, mezcals, I do all worldly whiskeys. So I got some Indian whiskey, I got Irish whiskey, Japanese whiskey, American whiskey, Taiwanese whiskey, obviously Scotch. So I don't care where it comes from. To me, a good dram is a good dram. So I don't limit myself. I drink them all. Okay. Peated, non-peated, the whole nine. So yeah, so Dragon Deck, you can pretty much expect, if you haven't seen it before, just a variety of different spirits. Like I said, all different kinds. I drink the aged tequila, the young tequila. So I just try to open up. I always try to train my palate. Even more so now, I begin to my rum. So I also have a Instagram page. I shoot you. You can leave it in the link. But here's a peated rum. So this is obviously a rum that's finished in an Isla peated cask. So a lot of times this tastes like a scotch, but it's a rum. But I use that example just to say, hey man, try rums, try brandies, cognacs. I try a little bit, try to push myself to try a little bit of everything. I don't eat, I like bourbon. I prefer the wheated ones as opposed to the rye. I think this is more sweeter. Mm-hmm. But I even force myself to try a rye just the same. So like I said, so you can expect a well-rounded palate. Usually I drop videos on Thursdays, and I usually try to give my viewers an idea of what it tastes like. I try to compare other spirits to it that they can remember, like, oh, okay. Like to me, I remember Heaven Hill. The Heaven Hill, I want to say the Bottle and Bond. Uh-huh. I think that has a little bit of similarity. Not exactly, but I think if somebody likes the Heaven Hill, Bottle and Bond at 50%, I think they wouldn't mind transition over and trying this. Okay. So I try to give them an idea, like if you never had this before, what can I compare this to in a different spirit that you can kind of wrap your mind around and think like, okay, if you like the flavors of Bottle and Bond, Heaven Hill, you may like this. That's all. And I try to give my idea of where I paid for it from. My opinions of it, the smell, notes. So just try to keep it well rounded. And I always try to respond back as much as possible. So that's
dope. Well, I appreciate you. We definitely, because your Instagram is Drams on Deck too, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. It is. So I'll put some of that down there so y'all guys can go and check him out. We definitely have a little something in the works coming up in the next few days or so. 10 at 7. Lucky number 7, baby. We're gonna be doing a little collabo with another awesome channel, Dark Spirits. We're gonna be tasting a little cognac. I'm not even gonna tell y'all. Y'all gotta go check out the videos. Y'all gotta find out what that cognac is. I'm not even gonna tell you what it is right now. But it'll be 10 at 7, 10 21. We're gonna be having a good time. We definitely want y'all to come check it out. Come see Drams. Come see Dark Spirits. It's gonna be a good time.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Keep plugging in, and I tell the viewers to get their bottles. So whatever they want to bring with them their cognac or whatever. Sit down, drink with us. So it's almost like you are drinking audience. We are partners. We definitely gonna have fun. I like to have fun with this. You know what I'm saying? So
For sure.
absolutely tune in, and we're gonna break it down for y'all. Give y'all a good show. And please have your drinks important. Drink with us.
That's right. That's right. So check it. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and the Tiki-Taki. Definitely check out Drams on Deck. Definitely grab your bottle. Do some searching. Figure out what bottle we going to be doing on 1010 at 7, so that you can grab you maybe the same bottle or grab you something similar to sit down and sit with us. But this has been another episode of Drones and Man, and I'm doing Scotch now. Can y'all believe it? We appreciate it, Drams on Deck.
Yes.
Clink 'em and drink 'em. And
Yes,
we'll
sir.
see you next time.
Yes, sir.